Welcome to Intuitive Human. Our mission is to normalize intuitive experiences for humanity. We're connecting with people just like you, excavating their highly impactful, view-shifting, intuitive experiences, diving deeply into what it actually feels like when you go beyond the veil. In this interview, Cameau Paul shares his clair abilities and initial awakenings, plus how he discovers and develops direct relationships with his spirit guides in his role as messenger for others. We hope you see your own reflection in these stories, empirically proving intuition really does exist, and in such a way so that you may discover your own intuitive human.
My name is Cameau Paul. I am 50 years young. My occupation is a social worker. I have a master's degree in social work. Had my first intuitive experience occurred when I was 7 or 8 years old. And I had moments throughout my life, my younger life. So I would say 7, 8, and then several experiences at 14, 17, and then several experiences between then and a major one around 34, 35.
And where were you geographically and or in your daily routine with these experiences?
Well, the first one when I was 7 7 or 8, I was in New York City, and then the rest were here in Miami, Florida. The first one occurred when I was sleeping.
Okay.
When I was 7 or 8, and I'm laying in my bed, and like a bolt of electricity hit me, and I couldn't move.
Oh.
And I felt like something was happening to me. I didn't know exactly what. So I stayed in my bed and I couldn't move. And the first night it happened, I panicked and I shook it off. Mm-hmm. And then the next night it happened again. So I calmed myself down and I went with it. So I don't really recall how long I was in that state though, but I wasn't traumatized by it, but it was just an experience that I don't know, I think for me it was normal. So I accepted it, and it happened twice, and that was it. It was normal. Yeah, normal. To me, I felt like it was normal because I see. The second night, it happened twice in a row, so I guess I expected it, and I stayed calm, and I just let it happen. I could not move. I couldn't twitch my neck. I was in a stable state like that, and it was an odd experience. Okay, I was in middle school, I believe in the 8th or 9th grade. And there was a situation I found myself with a friend of mine walking to school. And there was a particular person looking for me.
Okay.
And he wasn't looking for me to shake my hand.
Right.
And let's say I was 50 feet away, 60 feet away.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, but he didn't see me. And I thought he saw me. I saw his eyes, and he had no clue. He could not. And he was looking for somebody. I could see he was looking for somebody. He couldn't, and he didn't see me.
Okay.
And my heart was pumping.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. And all of a sudden, he didn't see me, so I was very surprised and very shocked. So.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that in just a little bit of what could have happened, like why he didn't see you. And then when you were 35, you said you had another instance. So the first time you were in bed, the second time you were walking in your neighborhood, and then when you were 35, kind of lay the scene for that. Where were you in your normal kind of like daily routine?
Well, I was 30. I was working. I began searching. I've been searching for a place to express and to participate in the spiritual environment and spiritual gathering, and I found myself into a Orisha worship, in which that I was initiated to Orisha, and the reading told me that I had a premonition back when I was 17 regarding something that I was thinking about or wondering about or seeking about. And the person that was telling me this told me to recall a situation that happened to me. And so before he even finished, I cut him off and I expressed myself and I pronounced myself what happened while I was 17. And I felt that this is the place I was supposed to be. This is the place that I was searching for, seeking for, and I found it.
That had been alive in you for, what, 18 years at that moment?
Yes, no? Yes, searching, seeking, finding, wondering.
Okay.
I was
Showtime.
walking. There was a period in Miami, Florida. There was a race riot, and the tensions were pretty high. So I was a neighbor and I were walking to school together, and he happened to be white. And so on the way back from school, he was wearing a gold chain, and so somebody came and took it from him. And my friend
Just off his neck.
just off his neck.
Okay.
And so my friend wanted the chain back, and there was an altercation. So I happened to be there to be a witness. And on the way walking to his home, the next day there was, he wanted to, they was going to take him to court, the person who assaulted him. And I believe maybe a couple of days later, I can see somebody, the person who engaged my friend.
The perpetrator.
The perpetrator, thank you. And he was looking for me.
Okay.
Because I walked to school.
So the guy who started the fight was looking for you.
For me. He's looking for me.
Looking around the neighborhood.
Because my friend now his parents picked him up and then took him to school. But myself, I walked.
Okay.
And he was looking. I can see him looking. And all of a sudden, I'm walking towards going to home. And I saw him before he saw me. And when he turned, I swear he saw me. I knew, my heart was pumping, boom, 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 and I was scared. And I felt that, I don't know, I felt that I saw me looking through him. I saw me and I saw him. And he didn't see me. So I was like so relieved and I'm thankful, what had happened to me. I don't know, miracle, who knows?
Why do you think he was looking for you?
No, maybe he wanted possibly for me to tell him a different version of the story because we were going to court, juvenile court. And maybe he wanted to scare me. Maybe he wanted to bully me. I have no clue. He didn't have good intentions. I can tell it because he was searching, looking. And I didn't want to find out, but I was nervous. I was scared. I was petrified. But he didn't see me, so I was so happy and so joyful. And I'll always remember that day.
How far were you from him when you saw him?
I'd say 50 feet, 60 feet, 70 feet, that distance. But I can see his pupils. I can remember it now. I can see him, and he didn't see me. He didn't see me. There was something there because why couldn't he see me? There was something there, something that I couldn't explain.
He should have seen you.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
But you were like invisible to him.
Exactly.
And would you say that you had a sense of protection or anything like that during that moment?
Protection, yeah. Protective spirits, protective entity, what have you. Yes, no doubt. That was a pivotal point of my life because I was following a doctrine that I don't follow anymore. And that entity that protected me, there was something, it was a form of connection. I couldn't even explain what it was. I mean, it was what I was going through then and what I was practicing then and what religions I was practicing then didn't indicate of an entity or of an experience like this for me. And so
it didn't translate necessarily for you.
Exactly, it didn't translate. So I started seeking different. A different way of expression, religiosity or spirituality. There was a seeking within me. There was a hunger within me, looking for something other than what I was believing or what I was taught to believe. Yeah,
Would
another
you say
path,
like that?
another way, another dynamic, another experience.
And then a few years later, something else happened. When you were 17, you told us a little bit about that. So what did you see in, I think it was a dream state?
It was a dream state, but I wasn't conscious. I was awake, but it was something I was daydreaming, basically.
Okay.
And my bed, 17, looking up in the ceiling, and I saw a vision in which I was going to be somewhere, and people were going to listen to me, and something I was going to say that I was going to announce that I've arrived somewhere, but I didn't exactly know when. I didn't exactly know where. I didn't exactly know how, but I know it was going to happen. And so I was daydreaming, but it was more than a daydream. It was real. I felt it real and didn't know how to express it, didn't know how to announce it. So I just waited for it to occur in the future.
And when you say you saw it, you said you saw it on the ceiling?
Well, I was looking up in the ceiling, but
Okay.
it was like watching a movie.
So was it like a still image, or did the image or whatever you saw have movement?
It was movement.
It had movement.
It had movement. It had
Okay.
sound. I heard it.
Okay, like
So,
a movie.
Like a movie. Or 17 years later, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then exactly the person that said that, I had the reading, and he told me, do you recall when you were younger, at a younger age, you were looking for something, you were seeking something, and sure enough, when he said that, I cut him off and I pronounced myself. Yes, I was looking for something, I was searching for something, I was seeking for something, and this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the people there in front of me and said, yeah, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yes. And he confirmed, yes, this is where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to do this, and you are one of the followers of this way, and you study, you learn, you'll go places.
And who was this man who was telling you this?
Well, there's a man who was the reader. And once you get initiated, there's a reading in which tells you about your life, your present life, past, present, and future.
And this is in the Yoruban tradition.
The Yoruba tradition, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
Okay.
he said, this is where I'm supposed to be, and I'm going to be, there are things that are going to happen to me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so be vigilant, practice, be ethical. This is ethical, ethical is very important. And things will happen. So little by little, things are happening. Things have been happening.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just, it's a beautiful thing. It's word cannot describe the beauty of what I've experienced. And so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a pivotal point because my life was going this way, and now it's going that way.
Right. Those younger experiences introduce you to other options.
Yes.
That were not how you were brought up.
Exactly. Yeah,
I
it was
see,
not
I see.
brought up. So but it gave me fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me a sense of being connected to more than just the mundane, the routine of just living the life. It's a deep, rich, humbling experience that is beyond. It's beyond. It's the third eye, but it's beyond seeing and smelling and it's beyond that.
Sure.
Yeah, it's more, for me, it's more grounded, it's more profound, it's more enriching. And so I'm in it. I mean, I'm all into it, and I'm committed, and it's a peaceful place. It's a peaceful, for me. Let's say I'm a maverick. I'm a circle, not a square. And I used to see things, and I used to hear things, and I used to able to see futures and deja vus, what have you, and that was not fitting in that square. Let me show you an experience. I had an experience once. I don't know the age, young adult. I was at a Walmart, and something told me to tell this man about his daughter.
Okay.
And tell her. And I don't want to do it.
Right.
You know, and the voice told me, tell him, and I told him, your daughter, this, I don't recall exactly what it was. He looked at me, and
But he gave him a message.
He gave him a message. That's
about
all
his daughter, and it's a strange man.
As a strange man, I don't know
Okay.
him, I know nothing.
Okay.
And I told him, and he looked at me, he didn't know what to say, but it was something that it resonated with him because his eyes opened up.
Okay.
And I left him alone. But these are things that happen to me from time to time.
Right.
And I have to follow and tell and not withhold. I'm here, I'm a messenger.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
just
the
say that.
service. Right?
It's a service.
It's
That's
in
why.
service.
And that's why when I going back to realize why am I a social worker?
Uh-huh.
Why did I study social work? Why?
Right.
It's the service. It's the service of giving. It's the service of helping. But my helpings are different ways. It's a spiritual way. It's a way of giving advice, counsel.
Right.
But it's a deeper meaning.
And it's beyond logic.
It's way beyond logic.
Yeah.
It's way beyond
Yeah.
logic. It's way beyond analyzing and analytical thinking. This is not, it has nothing to do with analytical here. This is more. It's nothing to do with analytical. You can't quantify this. You cannot quantify this. And so I'm living the spiritual path. It's not me. It's not my ego. It's not me. That's what I
Right.
can say. It's not me. It's not the ego me.
It's coming through.
And that
you.
once my ego was lowered, humbled,
Uh-huh.
then the information came, and it continued to come.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you even came to know your guides and know specific qualities of them? You mentioned a monk kind of quality and a cave quality one time.
Okay.
But yeah, like share with us about your guides and who they are and how it works for you.
All right. In the beginning of my development, spiritual development, when I met my godmother, first and foremost, the foundation for us is God or whatever, Almighty God. The foundation after that is the spirits, and then spiritual developing the spirits is being in a sacred place of my home. There's a spiritual table in which there are different paraphernalia, and the key is to sit and be still, saying certain prayers, certain incantations, singing, but to be still and to sit. And from time to time, I attend spiritual masses in which there's a group of people who come together and we say prayers. And then from time to time, there could be a person who can either see, myself also, but in the beginning, I wasn't able to see that much,
right?
To be able to hear or see. But there are people that are more developed than me saw my guides, who they were. They may know their names or not, who they were and how many they had, and they looked like this, they were this tall, they were that short, and they were wearing this. So, just like going to the gym, you have to go to the gym. Not too much, not too little, but twice a week, 3 times a week. So there's a routine in which to develop, to see, to hear. And eventually one of my guides is a monk who likes to be in solace and quiet. But there's a reason why he's with me. I don't ask why he's with me, he's just with me. So I had to tend to his energy, let's just say for that, for energy. And so at times I'm a monk. I go into a cave. I stay by myself or do things by myself. I stay quiet. I go places like the Everglades just to be by myself, to think, just to be. And little by little, I tend to know his what he likes, what he doesn't like, what is his temperament, by just being still, being quiet, and then just hearing voices.
So like taking on the qualities of that guide to learn more about that guide.
Yes, but not to let him overtake me, because I'm not a monk.
Right.
I'm not a saint.
Right.
I don't want to be in that environment quiet all the time, but there are moments that I need to be quiet. Spiritual masters at my home, I found out a lot of who my guides are, what they like, what are their dispositions, and it's a symbiotic relation. And so they help me, I help them. It's a symbiotic. One can't work without the other. So little by little, I trusted more in them. I have 200% faith in them, because they're for me. They help me better myself. They help me to evolve. They help me to help others.
Are they like ancestors?
There's some of my ancestors, yes. There's some of my ancestors who are. I was told of several. One of my grandmother or great grandmother was very big time spiritualist, able to heal people, heal animals, just by herbs, roots, berries, things of that nature. So I don't know her name, but I call upon her if I need help, insight, the things that I don't know. And
does she answer?
Well, I don't know her name, but I believe she does. I believe she does, but I don't know her name. I would love to know her name. My mother doesn't know her name. She's heard about her. My mother knew about her when she was a child, but don't know her name.
Have you asked her what is your name?
I will. That was a good
it's
question.
a simple no.
Yeah, it's a simple question, yeah. It's true, because I would get the answer. I've done that with my other guys, and they told me their name. Thank you. That was so simple.
Yeah. So then you do have a sense of who are my guides, hanging in my posse, my group, my crew, and then other spirits that may be wandering or lost, maybe even, or looking for somebody to be guiding, to be guided.
Yeah, to be guided, to be helped, to be. It's like a vibration. It's different energies. My home is a sacred place. My home is my temple, so I have to be clean and keep it a certain way. When I feel, not inside my home, but outside my home, I can feel certain places to go. I can go somewhere and feel a little discomfort or unease. Sometimes I go to the nursing homes or the hospital, I feel a little bit unease. I can tell that something is wanting my attention.
And that could be your non-guide.
Yeah, it'd be my non-guide.
Like not your personal guide.
Yeah, not
it'd be
mine.
some other kind of thing. I see. And do you call on your guides for some of the service work that you do?
I have to, because it's not me.
And you have mentioned earlier about how you heard a message to deliver, all right, for that man's daughter. What was the experience like of hearing? Was it like through your ear, or was it through your head?
No, through my ear. When I first started, and I was at the, we'd be at the spiritual masses, and I would hear things. I was like, no, this can't be it. I'm talking to myself. No, you don't want me to do that. So I told my guide, if you want me to, if you're telling me to do this, pinch me. Okay. So he did, and I go, and the people would look at me, and I like I was being pinched, and then I started talking, and they looked at me in shock, because nobody knew, and it was, oh wow, this is real. And little by little, I let go, because in the beginning, I couldn't sleep. I wasn't sleeping because the guides were there with me. In the beginning, when I opened up, I really opened up. It wasn't
right.
It was
you gotta like learn how to titrate that attention, right?
Exactly.
You turn the valve all the way
volume
on.
down, trying to seek the right channel, because I'm trying to sleep, and it took a while, and then I found a way to speak to them. I'm human. I need sleep. Sleep is important. Eating is important. Eating the right food, drinking enough water, exercise is important. You got to keep your body ready.
And then there's a little test of like, all right, if this is you guys, pinch me.
Right.
And then you made the same sound twice when we were just talking about it. Was it like a body pinch or like a squeeze pinch on the inside of you?
No, it was like I told him where to pinch me.
Okay.
Pinch me in my hip, and I felt it.
Okay.
And it was more than twice, because I was hesitant in the beginning.
Yes.
This can't be real. I mean,
or you got to check this stuff out.
I was like, no, this got to be it. Pinch me. And sure enough, and little by little, and then now it's just easy breezy. Like the man at the Walmart, I heard it, because it was imminent. It's not something to say that's not, this was imminent. Something was going to happen. And so do it, say it.
And it's your duty in a way, because you can hear.
Analytical person could say, to trying to analyze this. This is not about, there's time passing by. When you're crossing somebody, you only have 5, 10, 15 seconds and you're gone.
Sure.
But there are moments that this 5 seconds, 10 seconds, this is the time. And I hear the voice. You just say it, thank you, or no thank you, what have you, and be on your way. Maybe something. That
to know and really find the ground in the service of the message. Right. That we don't know how that message is going to land for them. Maybe they've been waiting their whole life to hear that. Maybe it's going to save the life of their daughter in this case, or save the life of themselves, or who knows the impact. But in any kind of way that compelling message has ever been delivered, it's been a really impactful moment for the receiver.
I believe so. I mean, I felt I had no choice. You know, it was the first one that I had to do it the way I felt. It was the first one I had to say something, and I was like, wow, so what do I do? What do I do? Well, time is coming. Time is coming. But it's not it's not only the messages, but how the message is delivered. You know? I mean, I have to calm down so I can feel it. Centered. Yet, but this message is going to be, I don't know how this person is going to receive it. Number one, I don't know how impactful the person is going to be. It's going to hit them when I say it. So I have to learn my verbiage and my serving. The serving of the message has to be in a way that's palatable. Right. And that matches the energy. That's what I've learned. Is that the message, the words that you choose matter, and vibrationally matter, energetically matter, and how, like, they have a responsibility for how they receive the message, but I have a responsibility of delivering the message in the right tone, frequency, care,
and
Pitch,
heart.
humility, and sincerity, because it's not.
And what other ways would you say, before we completely wrap up here, are the intuitive pathways that are alive for you? So it sounds like you can see. You've seen the visions since you were at least 17, if not earlier. This whole thing kind of came awake for you electrically when you were 7,
Yes.
as you described. And then you can hear. So you're seeing, feeling would be the electricity. That's clairsentience, seeing clairvoyance, hearing clairaudience. Have you ever had the experience of smelling something beyond logic, which would be clair olfactory or clairalience, or tasting, which is clairgustance?
Smelling, not too frequently, but smelling, yes, from time
Okay.
to time, yeah. Perfumes, smoke, tobacco, things of that nature.
A lot of people have a feeling of tobacco. When a certain spirit guide or something comes, they can smell the tobacco.
Certain type of tobacco, yes. Taste, no. And seeing, not completely seeing everything.
Sure.
It's a third eye see, but yes.
So then the final question is, do you think intuitive experiences are reserved for special magical people, or can any human have this experience?
I believe any human could have this experience, but different people have several levels of experiences. It's not for the special one. I'm not special compared to anyone else. I'm just different, unique. And so everybody can have some type of vision. I believe everybody has some deja vu. That's what I believe. I don't know. I haven't asked everybody, but I believe a good large amount of people have some form of deja vu once or twice in their lifetime. Some are more in tune with it. Some people just pass it by like it's nothing, and some people try to be analytical about it. It's just nothing has to do with analytical. This is nothing analytical about this. You have to be more inclined to the intuition of things that occur that are beyond our understanding. It's deeper than just words, I say. But I believe everybody has the capacity.
Ask your grandma what her name is.
I will. It's my honor to be here with you. It's very enlightening for me because I don't typically express this aspect of my life because it's not the norm. And so I just do it just to do it. I mean, I'm just living my life and evolving, but to actually go deep and to express myself and to explain and express what I've gone through and what this is, it's been very beneficial for me.
Well, thank you for sharing. We really appreciate you as a human, as an intuitive human, and enjoy the work that you do in the world with the social work and being in service in that way.
Thank you.
That we appreciate all parts of you, and all parts of you are welcome.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you.
Okay,
It's a
thank
pleasure.
you. All right.